Hey everybody, I'm Fred Jones. I'm a teacher of film at Southeast Missouri State University. When I was young, I remember going with my father to see Star Wars on the big screen for the first time and just being in awe of what I saw. I kind of felt that emotional power that films have. And as I grew older, as a high schooler, I started kind of thinking that maybe this is a career path for me. So when I went to school initially, there was no film program at Southeast, so I pursued English as a degree because I wanted to learn how to become a better writer, and it did help a lot. I got exposed to writers such as Flannery O'Connor, who was a huge inspiration to me. But I always knew in the back of my mind that I was going to need to go to film school. So I ended up just looking in a random book in the library and finding that University of Utah had a film school, and I thought that sounded like a cool place to live. I had a few meager possessions in the back of my small pickup truck, and I traveled out there and found an apartment once I arrived, and I was just kind of going on faith that this is what I was meant to do. I met my wife, Shirley, in film school. We started the same semester. It was really one of the most wonderful times of my life. It's a time when, as a student, everything you're studying is something that you love. All the curriculum is film all the time. And you're surrounded by people who have that same passion, that same love. So you're making films together, you're going out at night together and talking about film, and it's just this total immersion that is so wonderful. It's just like you've kind of found your people. Filmmakers that I really admire, I love Terrence Malick. He's the director of Badlands. He has this beautiful, poetic filmmaking style that I love. I love Yasujiro Ozu. I love the work of Croissant. Just the way they tell these simple stories with just this elegance, but this also emotional power and depth to them. It's pretty amazing to watch. If you grow up here, it's hard not to be immersed in some kind of faith. It's just kind of part of the fabric of this community and this region of the country. And I think as I've grown older, faith has become more important to me as a person. As I write stories or make films, those themes are going to emerge again and again because, for one, it's important to me, but for two, I just hope that in some way my work kind of points back to my faith in God. I think surprisingly, film is alive and well in Southeast Missouri. There's quite a few people who are doing work in the area, and the area itself, it's just filled with characters and stories and incredibly beautiful cinematic locations. There are opportunities to tell stories here. We decided to write a script revolving around the things that we had access to. My brother-in-law's family farm, our friend's farm. And we crafted this story called Sugarhouse, which is really the story of these two sisters who are abandoned by their father, and they're forced to reach out to their brother, who's kind of a criminal in his own right, but he's struggling with these demons and kind of this almost hold that his father has over him. So we came up with this story, and we just kind of went into it on faith that it was going to happen. And none of us had done this before. I mean, Shirley and I had never made a feature. Most of our actors had never been even in a film before. Looking back at the filming of Sugarhouse, I'm still amazed at how God worked through that whole process. The process of making Sugarhouse was just an incredibly special thing for both of us, and we'd love to keep doing that. I know filmmaking is expensive, and that is tricky, but there are ways to tell your stories that aren't too financially devastating. So I would just encourage, especially young people who are wanting to get into this, to hone your craft, learn how to tell stories, and then just go out and do it. Every day of my life, I'm doing something that I love. I love teaching and I love film, and I get to pair those two things together. So what else could you want?